Call meeting to order. First, some housekeeping. Congratulations to John Weber, named 2018-2019 Newfoundland Minor Softball Male Player of the Year. Abigail Gammon, named 2018-2019 Newfoundland Minor Softball Female Player of the Year. Brooke Lannon, member of the provincial female hockey team that represented Newfoundland at the 2018-19 Canada Winter Games in Red Deer, Alberta. To Hardy Fitzpatrick, part of the team that won the gold medal at the provincial Pee Wee AAA Female Hockey Championship. Gavin Pincher, member of the team that won the bronze medal at the provincial Bantam AAA Male Hockey Championships. To the Placentia Lions Pee Wee hockey team, brought home the gold medal from All Newfoundland Pee Wee F minor hockey tournament in Twillingate during Easter week. The Lions defeated the Trinity Placentia Flyers, the TVs, 4-0 in the championship game. St. Anne's Academy primary and elementary choirs had excellent performances at the recent Kiwanis Music Festival. The primary choir finished first with a score of 90 and were called back to perform at the closing ceremonies. The elementary finished first as well with a score of 94. The school won 3 awards in total. To John Roach of the Special Olympics, who's been called with All Newfoundland Floor Hockey, represent All Newfoundland, and it's going to be in Thunder Bay, Ontario. Congratulations, John. And congratulations to Lauren Collins on his 26 years with the cadet movement and his recent retirement from the service. Thank you, Lauren, for a long and standing service indeed. Now call a motion to adoption of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Fitzpatrick, seconded by Councillor Collins Power. All in favour? Motion carried. Adoption of the minutes dated March 19, 2019. Moved by Councillor Collins Power, second Councillor Collins. Any errors or omissions? All in favour? Motion carried. Business arising? Any business arising from the minutes? We'll move on to the Executive Committee report. The Executive Committee met April 16, 2019 at 5 p.m. In attendance was myself as the Chair, Deputy Mayor Keith Pearson, Councillor Kay Smith, Mary Green, Acting CAO, and Debbie Gare, Executive Assistant to record. The Executive Committee made the following recommendations. Council approved the appointment of Rhonda Power to the position of Deputy Clerk Acting. Moved by Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Collins Power. Any questions? All in favour? Motion carried. That the Deputy Clerk Acting be added as a signing authority for the town of Placentia. Moved by Councillor Hines, second by Councillor Smith. Any questions?
Should that read Acting Deputy Clerk?
Deputy Clerk Acting, I just did.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Okay. Call for the question. All in favour? Motion carried. The Council adopt the ATIP policy to be submitted to the Office of the Information and Privacy Commissioner for approval as required. Moved by Councillor Smith, seconded by Councillor Fitzpatrick. Any questions? All in favour? Motion carried. The Council approved Saturday, July 20th, 2019 as the Regatta Day holiday in the town of Placentia. Moved by Councillor Hines, second Councillor Smith. Any questions? All in favour? Motion carried. The Council approved awarding the wayfinding project tender to the sole bidder Mills Wright Landscape Architecture in the amount of $161,390 plus HST, with funding provided under the Federal Provincial Municipal Partnership. Moved by Councillor Fitzpatrick, second by Councillor Smith. Any questions? All in favour? Motion carried. The only other point I'd like to bring out is that the executive committee, several permits have been noticed that development has been occurring within the town of Essentia without the appropriate permits. And council is advising that permits are required for any development that's going to be changing the footprint of your property, such as a step, building, shed, etc. And permits are to be in place before construction. Municipal enforcement officer has been tasked to ensure that all permits are going to be in place and any development that's occurring within the town has the appropriate permits. So anybody got questions or concerns, feel free to contact the town office to see if they require a permit and get the necessary paperwork. Move on to the Finance Committee report. Councillor Smith.
The Finance Committee met on April 12th, and in attendance was me as chair, Deputy Mayor Keith Pearson, and Councillor Jamie Lee Fitzpatrick. And from staff was Mary Green, acting CAO, and Debbie Gear to report. The Finance Committee made the following recommendations. The Council approved the accounts payable transaction journal dated April 8th, 2019, in the amount of $35,819.87.
Moved by Councillor Smith, second by Councillor Hines. Any questions? All in favour? Motion carried.
The Council approved the check register for the operating account in the amount of $197,045.73. Checks number 027602 to 027699.
Moved by Councillor Smith, second. Councillor Collins Power. Any question? All in favour? Motion carried.
The Council approved the special accounts check register for the month of April 2019.
Moved by Councillor Smith, second. Councillor Hines. Any questions? All in favour? Motion carried.
The Council approved the visa statement expenditure for the period February 28th to March 27th, 2019 in the amount of $1,485.73.
Moved by Councillor Smith, second. Councillor Fitzpatrick. Any questions? All in favour? Motion carried.
The Council approved an adjustment of $106.64 to account number KELLE003. A building has been removed from the property.
Moved by Councillor Smith, second. Councillor Collins. All in favour? Motion carried.
The Council approved an adjustment of $6,000 marshalling yard tax to account VALAR001. The size of the laydown yard has been reduced.
Moved by Councillor Smith, second. Councillor Hines. Any questions? All in favour? Motion carried. This yard has been occupied by another tenant now. Is that picked up in the rolls as well? And we're losing it from one and somebody else is occupying it?
The registering. I'll check on
Okay. Councillor Smith.
The Council approved the expenditure of up to $1,995.50, HST included, for the purchase of town jackets for staff and councillors.
Moved by Councillor Smith, second. Councillor Fitzpatrick, all in favour? Motion carried.
The Council approved the June 1st release of 35% of the $19,000 approved for Placentia Area Development's operation of the summer recreation program. Subsequent payment of 15% will be made on July 1st and the remainder August 1st. The $19,000 funding will be reduced by the amount of registration fees collected for the program.
Moved by Councillor Smith, second. Second, Councillor Hines. All in favour? Motion carried.
The Council approved the release of the $6,000 committed to the Placentia Area Chamber of Commerce Placentia Bay Industrial Showcase.
Moved by Councillor Smith, second. Councillor Fitzpatrick. Any questions?
Just about in the report there, it talks about, requested a It's not part of the motion, so maybe I'm not allowed to ask him this one.
No, is it related?
Just a question about the admittance for the public. Is there gonna be a fee for that, is my question.
I believe they wrote back and said there would be a public session,
Yeah.
correct?
And possibly.
You know, we had a concern there as well that, you
We
know,
wanted
this,
people to access it.
this was taxpayers' revenue being put out, and yet the average residents could not partake of the showcase. And it was my understanding that the committee discussed that, or somebody discussed that with PBS.
I know they sent back a letter, 'cause I
They
remember
were-
reading it. I don't remember about the fee though.
There was no conversation of fee or anything in the letter that came back.
Do we want to table the motion, mover and the second until for clarification? Okay, we can table the motion, or we can vote on it without clarification. I would suggest that the mover and the second, and we'd table it until we get the clarification.
I just want to ensure that if we do invite the public, we're not going to charge them. It's just,
Yes, but again,
Correspondence
it's-
that, yeah, because the correspondence that came back on it was around, and Mary, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, was that there would be a public session put into it, but there was no
Okay.
talk of a fee.
Okay.
But that is a good question of whether or not there is a fee. Since it is
so we could, you know, we need to make sure that there is a public session, we can make an amendment to the motion.
or can we amend the
So
motion?
that,
and then
with
move
that it
forward?
goes moving forward, as long as there's going to be a public session without cost to the residents. Right? And is the mover and the second are able to want to put that amendment into the motion.
Sure.
Okay, so that should clarify. Any other questions? All in favor? Motion carried.
The council approved the expenditure of $2,000 for the purchase of fireworks for Canada Day celebrations.
Moved by Councillor Smith, second by Councillor Hines. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried.
The council approved the expenditure of $450 to advertise in the La Gavature magazine.
They got it all. Moved by Councillor Smith, second by Councillor Hines. She can probably say it like a door. Any questions?
This is probably covered in the tourism. What exactly is that it's going to be put around in different.
It's a French magazine, actually, and they've had great traction with it. We got a lot of response from it the last time it was in. And that goes to Quebec, which is where a lot of the tourists are coming from the past couple of years. And with the numbers that we get back from the tourism, Department of Tourism, that is probably one of the top ranked areas for it to go to. So we thought it was a good investment.
This is budgetary item, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried.
The council released the $5,000 contribution to the Century Rowing Club as per budget approval.
Moved by Councillor Smith, second. Councillor Deputy Mayor. Okay. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried.
That council approved the expenditure of $15,000 plus HST for the purchase of an air compressor for the fire department from the fire department's budget as requested from the fire chief and acting CAO.
Moved by Councillor Smith, second. Councillor Collins. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Thank you, Councillor Smith. Next, we'll move on to the Public Works Committee report.
Public Works Committee met on April the 10th. In attendance was myself, Councillor Hines, Councillor Collins, staff members with Public Works Superintendent Mr. Green and Ms. Gary Recorder. Following recommendations were made. The council approved the application from Clinton Smith to construct a short story shed at number 34 Old Seven Hill Freshwater. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, second. Councillor Hines. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried.
Council approved the application from Adrian County for residential extension permit at number 104 Orchid Drive, Placentia. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, second by. Deputy Mayor, can you move your mic closer to you, please? Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Fitzpatrick. Any questions? All in favour? Motion carried.
Council approve amendment to motion number 98-2018, permitting construction of a new residence at number 25 Kings Lane. The amendment will allow for a change in the house design plans. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Hines. Any questions? All in favour? Motion carried.
Council approve the application from Townside Hardware for a commercial and other development permit to develop a two-bedroom apartment with the stipulation that this site is used for rental of apartments only, pending government service approval. Alternate uses would require pre-approval from council. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor. Is this approval in principle the application pending government service?
Exactly, yes.
So can we say approval in principle?
Yep, council, yep.
Corrected.
Good.
Deputy Mayor, moved, second by Councillor Speed. Any questions?
The applicant, unless it was changed after or I misread it, is a 3-bedroom apartment? The plan looked like it was 3 bedrooms. So I just wondered why it was changed to 2 bedrooms.
There's two apartments, and there's a space for a third one, so maybe you can speak to your there.
There's one 3-bedroom apartment and one 2-bedroom apartment, so it's probably not worded correctly. There's two apartments. It's the mistake.
Oh, so two
So this is,
apartments.
so
It's only for the 2-bedroom.
for the record, this is to approve the commercial application to convert the commercial property into a commercial apartment building,
Commercial.
which would be a 2 and a 3-bedroom apartment.
Okay.
Is this correct? So it's going to do it now, pending that there, obviously, a commercial application, it has to go through Government Service Centre for fire exit, safety, so on and so forth. And the application's approval in principle to proceed to the government with your drawings, whatever the case may be. Everybody understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready for the question? All in favour? Motion carried.
The council approved the application of Placentia Bay Holdings to construct a fence at number 12 Marquee Avenue, Argentia. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Collins. Any questions? All in favour? Motion carried.
The council approved the application of Mean Atlantic for a commercial and other development permit to effect fendering and pole work to their ward. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, second. Councillor Collins. Any questions? All in favour? Motion carried.
The council approved the application to operate a mobile rent-a-wrench mechanical and tool welding service in Placentia. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, second. Councillor Fitzpatrick. Any questions?
What's it, it's like a truck or,
It's just a service truck?
Yeah, it's like a service truck. There's been other ones in the past that just go around the area. It's a mobile unit.
Yeah.
That they do with it.
Any questions? All in favour? Motion carried.
That's it for the motions. There was some other permits there that were deferred because of more information was needed in order to make sure they met the regulations. There was another bunkhouses in Bog Avenue in Argentia that was referred and still don't have all the information on that. So the other thing is the cleanup project is beginning. Right now, they're down for looking for workers, so that has been advertised on the town site. I guess the soda ash in Argentia, which has been a concern, has been, we've been addressing our concerns to environmental agency. They've had people from the Department of Transportation on site and actually stop the vehicles and review them for proper permits, and I know there are some adjustments they need to have made through government service agencies that, that need to be fixed. Signage within the town is continuing to lobby provincial government for improved road signage for the Placentia and Cape Shore. We did just have the wayfinding project tender completed, so that should certainly help the signs within the community. And there's a date on that, hopefully it'll be done by, hopefully July or August, I'm hearing, I'm not sure what it is, but that will certainly help. Other than that, that's it for Public Works.
Excuse me. I have a question about permits. Like, people selling stuff online on Facebook and stuff like that. How do we ensure they have proper permits in place?
It's a job for us to control permits and online media, unless they were going to be storing or doing something in their household, then they need permits for it. But
If somebody's advertising on social media that they got a residence or a fixed address, at that point we can, right, correct?
yes, then you need a home-based business.
Yeah,
If you're offering or stating a business as a home-based business, but then you are covered under a permit fee, you need a business to get your home registered as a business, and obviously the application has been back through here. So if that's the case, our enforcement officer identifies something there, the enforcement officer then should send the home-based business the notification that indeed they need a permit to occupy within the town of section. Okay, so if there's any information there, Councillor Smith, you should notify accordingly. And anyone that's there that's going to be operating business, we have to let them know that in order to do so, the town of Essentia has a permit process.
it's not fair to the business that are after that paying their business tax to the town, and the town is using that revenue for other services and providing services to them, that people that are not paying for this, it's not fair for the permits.
Okay, next move on to the Public Safety Committee. Councillor Collins.
The Public Safety Committee met on April 9th. In attendance was myself and Councillor Collins Power. Councillor Hines had work commitments, and staff members were Mr. Green and Ms. Gear. There's no recommendations at this time. There were some topics of discussion, and I don't know if you want me to mention some of the topics of discussion.
Sure, you can go through things you feel is pertinent.
Okay, well, the fire department compressor was just passed. Also, we're looking at our speed limit signs, our speed information collected around town. Again, some of the speeds are still up. We are switching them around in the next little while. We do have a few areas that we have concern over. One zone we're looking at changing the speed limit is in by the hospital, going from 30 to 20 kilometers an hour. Also, in Dunville, there's, I'll always call it urban housing. There's another concern there. People coming down into the housing area at a speed coming down that hill. There's a concern from the residents there. So we're going to be looking at that. Clean up. There's a list of the summer clean, the advertisement is out for the hiring for the cleanup. There's 7 firefighters doing a training program down at the Husky site, and that's going fairly well. The RCP report is in and it was circulated for our information. The maintenance list is being updated, and there was one just the other day. We had a lady who had mentioned about the piece of equipment, freshwater play grabber, just to let everybody know that that piece of equipment has since been repaired. And also the list of dilapidated properties are being updated, and now the municipal enforcement officer will be going around to do that. And also there's a bus shelter to be put down by Prince William Drive before the next school year. So Prince William Drive is just down from a couple of, just on the other side of the street from Martin's Pharmacy. And that's about it for our committee meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Collins.
Question though, I just wanted to just touch on the speeding. We are after getting a lot of emails in our inbox during the last while regards to speeding, and I guess one is Brecker and some other places that are around. Has the committee looked at, I know a lot of people talk to the speed bumps, but I'm not talking to speed bumps, and I know the radars move around. It's impossible to move the radars everywhere, right? So there are certain areas, I wonder, is there a way we can get more signage that would be visible going into these zones to get people to slow down? Like, we can't get 5 radar signs, we don't have the money. But I'm wondering about bright signage coming into Brecker, coming into, I know there was one coming into Fox Harbor Road. I know going into the tennis courts where you get a lot of kids playing and stuff. Is there something that you might want to look at with bright sign, something that's more than just one sign, something that stands out when you see it.
We've discussed it before, and I think Public Works should look at it, especially like there, and it was brought to note, was by Dunwell St. Anne's School, the intersection. We've put some signs there. Those neon green, those bright signs like a child at play, you know, I think a lot of those, but not just one or two signs. When you see multiple of those signs, then it sort of really registers in your mind there. You'll see, like, you know, throughout St. John's and other areas there, wherever there's a school zone, you'll see every 50 feet or 60 feet or so, whatever, one of those signs that really, you know, gets people to think that before the school zone. So maybe, Adam, you can just review some of that, because maybe the cost of some of those signs, you know, if it's going to be children at play signs, you know, it might not be very expensive to be purchasing some of those, right? So maybe you should get something, bring it back to committee, and committee could review, so they bring it back to council.
Yeah, I think that should probably go to the public safety.
Yes.
To look at.
I also have a question, because there was a recommendation referred to the executive committee around reducing the speed from 30 to 20 in the hospital zone. So that wasn't on the executive.
No, we didn't, we looked at that there yet, didn't get more information.
Okay.
It's 30 down to 20. It's actually then, where does the stopper start, right? So there was question and concern on that. So we want more information.
I think this is one of the areas, another area, would be put more signage in the area about the visibility. That might work instead of trying to drop down speed limits. I don't know. That was one that, you know.
It's a residential street too, so maybe I better not get there.
But also in the past, I don't know, for the public information, the town has put up the signs to warn people around because it is a health center area. And the turn that's coming, because it's a one-way road in and a one-way road out. And we do have seniors in the Century Health Center complex who go in and out that road. And we did put up some signs just to warn people there, because that's more of a high traffic for not only just kids, but it's also for adults and seniors who are slow walkers and seniors using wheelchairs and other items to get around, so.
I think the discussion was that we could actually use, you know, as mentioned by Councillor Collins, if one of those signs would be mobile, right? Maybe we could actually would have been put one there and actually got some of the data then and say, yes, you know, is it a very high risk of something that's happening there, or is it just the outburst there? Obviously, those signs give us the data that we're looking for, and then give us more information to further.
Mr. Mayor, we've had a resident who's put up two signs, one on his own garbage box and one in the tree across the street, like visible for people to see that there is children in that area, because the speeds are kind of high there.
And I think there was also some question about the blind turn was in by the hospital. We were going to get that reviewed as well, that Treat area who actually owns the land, because coming around that turn was identified as visually just, right? And, you know, and there was a question concerned that we were going to get information there about actually getting some, you know, trimming out of that line there, because that was actually a hazard as well. Okay, any other public safety? Okay, thank you, Councillor Collins. Move on to the Culture and Tourism Committee report. Councillor Hines.
Thank you. We met on April 11th, and I was there as chair. We had Councillor K. Smith, Councillor Collins was working. Ms. Power was there as manager of tourism marketing and communications, and Ms. Gear was there to report. The two things that we had, we referred to Finance Committee, were approved. Thank you. And we had Voices 2019 Festival, which is the first weekend in August. We have funding of $9,100 was received from Canadian Heritage in support of the Voices Festival. And I do believe that was a little up from where it was last year. There was planning being held with reps of the Star of the Sea and about the logistics of the beer tent and the festival and stuff, and it was a Sunday brunch. So Ms. Power was able to meet with them and have great communication and a good planning session for that, which was great. And I think it was brought up some of the miscommunication or things that weren't as smooth as we would have liked to have last year. Were certainly been ironed out how it's going to be this year. So thank you. We had an agreement has been signed with the town of Placentia and of the Heritage, and we talked about that last month. about them needing a lease agreement for about 15 years to meet with their funding partners for the development of their property down there. A copy of the agreement will be kept in the town's agreements, and that was beneficial to both parties. In August 20, at the end of August, we have the Irish visit, and I think more and more Irish are coming. I think it's up to about 70 now, if I'm correct. Yeah. So we are going to need all hands on deck for that, and we're going to need some host families for them. It shouldn't be too expensive to host these families because they're actually going to be spending money and paying for a lot of their own meals outside of the home. There's lots of engagement from the community. There's a bonfire and kitchen parties, salmon fishing, boat trip, outdoor cookout, and community partners will be invited to host some of these events as well. We have touched base with some Indigenous groups, which are actually going to be looking to come to Placentia, and we're working on that and meeting with them. Some advertising is done, volunteer dinner, which was a good success this year, thank you so much. And it was well attended. Canada Day celebrations, we have our fireworks coming, or approved coming, and we'll get the rest of the event, which has been successful for the past 2 years. I think we'll finalize the planning this month for that. The Spanish Film Company is here, there's lots of stuff to go. Arrangements were made to connect with the Spanish film crew with local interest groups, and we were able to do that, and they were able to see the Raleigh house and met with residents who are living here and from Spain. Tourism initiatives for other areas. We have, I know myself and Councillor Smith were at the H&L conference, and some of the people that we've met at that conference are actually touch base with the town, and are coming for meetings soon on developing some tourism initiatives for the area. So they've been approved about the zip lining in Colonette. And so we're actually looking at not just partnering, but kind of using communication to help the whole region, not just the town of Placentia, but to not partner with, but to open communication with the other municipalities that, it makes it more of a destination to come. So, and I do believe the Chamber of Commerce, as I'm the representative for the town, that has a new initiative now with tourism, and will be probably the partner that we'll use that'll lead with the rest of the groups. So I think it takes not a bit of the work off the town, not so much the responsibility, but it shares the work that needs to be done for it. So I think that's a good step.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Hines.
Question, Your Worship?
Question. Go ahead. Deputy Mayor.
Question. The lease agreement with Pat, would that have to go through council? Agreement like that? Because we've had other lease agreements in the past with other groups, and it never went through council. Get signed off by somebody, all of a sudden, a couple of years later, it's like, okay, who approved this? I don't know, just a question.
Well, we can ask for a motion to approve the lease agreement. I think previously
I'm
it was
not
zero.
sure.
I'm pretty sure we had already approved it as council to give the offer in the lease.
Okay, I thought we talked about it, we deferred it with the stipulation that, I thought it was deferred at the time?
There was some discussion out there and outlined it was a renewal sort of type of a thing of a lease for program funding. However, there was some changes put into it, and the change we put into it is that more clarification. And one of the changes that it could be terminated on either side within a 60-day notice. So even though it's a 15-year lease, it could be terminated on either side within a 60 or 90-day notice in case something happened to the group or whatever the case may be.
Okay, no, just a question.
There's also, I do believe, a stipulation that at the end of that lease, it has to be returned to the
Yes.
town if there's not allowed to move any properties.
And any renovations or anything done to the property building has to get approval from the town possession, so that will come there as well. Okay. Any other questions? Deputy? Okay, thank you, Councillor Hines. We'll move on to the Recreation Committee report. Councillor Fitzpatrick.
Recreation Committee met on March 27th. In attendance was myself as chair, Councillor Collins Power, Deputy Pearson, Mr. Pike as manager, and Ms. Catherine Smith as recorder. We had one recommendation that went to finance around the summer program, which we've already dealt with. So really, there's just a couple of updates. The fitness room in the arena was is completed. The equipment, the grant money was received, or yes, has been received since our meeting actually. And the equipment for the exercise room is in the process of being ordered, or it's on its way, one of the two. There is a new referees room at the arena. Sprinkler system was deferred to the executive. We had some discussion around that, around some of the deficiencies that were provided by Viking. The splash pad, the $50,000 of the money has been received, and there should be a tender drafted around the equipment that should be going out soon by this time.
So the splash pad is still a go at the
And the
regatta
other
site,
rounds.
that's great. And is that anticipated this year?
Yes,
Okay.
and that's really the update from us.
Okay, and the one on the equipment for the exercise room,
Yes.
has there been a list of equipment that, has the committee decided what equipment is? Or where's the decision made about what you're purchasing, 1, 2, 3, or something?
The equipment that's being purchased, the PASS group is the group that's identifying the equipment along with that. So there's, I can't remember all of the lists now, but it is.
Okay, thank you. Next, community engagement communication report,
But
Councillor
before we
Collins.
go to Councillor Collins Power, I will say that it's all commercial grade equipment that's going in there.
Thank you. Councillor Collins Power.
We met, I'll just first start off, we met on April 4th, and in attendance was myself, Councillor Fitzpatrick, Councillor Collins, and for staff, we had Ms. Power, and our reporter was Ms. Smith. Our motion has been already discussed regarding the town apparel. There was a couple of items we discussed. The newsletter, I guess that should be in the works now, to be going out shortly. Volunteer, which Councilor Hines has discussed, was held on the 12th, and it was attended by a lot of people and a good turnout, and was very successful there. And also just a note on the food bank, the elections held on the April 4th, and they had a great turnout from residents. Terms of reference were established and adopted prior to the election, and the new food bank committee is serving families from Branch to Ship Harbor. And if anyone would like to, would need to use that service at the food bank, they can contact them. There is a new phone number. It is 213-5333. As well, they have an email. I believe this is probably posted on our website, but just so people are aware. It's placentia-area-food-bank@gmail.com. And I'd just like to congratulate the committee there and thank the people who stepped forward to so we can have our food bank continue and hopefully have that service for our residents. Just a couple of announcements, I guess I put at the end, just regarding the bulk pickup, since it's a communication item. The bulk pickup is happening on May the 6th, and just so residents are aware, hazardous material cannot be in that bulk pickup. That will happen in June. And yeah, I just wanted to note those two items here.
Thank you, Councillor Collins Power. And thank you to all that were involved in the food bank committee, getting it pre-established. Obviously, it was identified from the town's point of view that it was a service that's needed. And it's great to see that the new committee is up, and we wish them well in their endeavor.
Excuse me, are they still located in Freshwater Community Center?
Yes, I think
Okay, thank you. Correspondence. Any questions from the correspondence? The gas tax, obviously, government has increased the gas tax, and this year the project that was identified for Burnt Woods, the increase in the gas tax, and where we identified the Burnt Woods project. that should alleviate us from having to borrow any monies hopefully for the Portmore project, the new increase in gas tax. So thank you to the Department of Municipal Affairs.
Is there an estimated time when that might go to tender, Mayor?
It should be in the process, I guess. Mr. Green, have you been in consulting with the engineers on this?
Not the last couple of weeks.
Maybe we can follow up because we'd like to get that to tender as soon as possible.
I'm still waiting on some improvements.
Okay. Okay,
Just, I see a note there, sorry, Mayor. Item number 15 says Saltscapes Expo. I know that Ms. Power has given, because we're members of Legendary Coast, they just came back from Saltscapes Expo. They would have had some town flyers and information. And the marketing person from Legendary Coast said it was an absolute phenomenal turnout for people who are actually going to the event this year. So, yeah, that's a connection.
very good. All good, thank you. Next, other business of councillors, Councillor Hines.
No, bulk pickup is important. I know after the snow's gone, winter's gone, place is horrifically full of trash and bags. And, you know, with tourism season coming on, they're coming faster these days, which is great. I'm glad we're doing it earlier. And, you know, I think, and it doesn't, you don't have to wait for a day to do the cleanup either. So every little bit helps. And if everyone can kind of go a few more feet from where they usually go, we'll hopefully get a good bit of it done. It needs a lot of work.
Yes, definitely. And certainly sure this time of year after the snow, it's, right?
Yeah.
It is, and we're going to try to keep clean. And to remind members of the public, like the litter is an offence. You know, that we in discussions with the RCMP have asked him to actually give, you know, violations for people that violate there, to issue the tickets accordingly for no littering within the town. It's terrible to see that once our workers clean the street, you know, the next day you go back and there's litter with a lot of refuse. So please be cognizant, keep your garbage, and try to dump it at home or put it where it's supposed to. Thank you. Councillor Collins. And Councillor Fitzpatrick.
I'd like to congratulate the Sensuous CYN for two awards that they received at the provincial conference recently. The Hammond Award for dedication to youth issues and the Don Award for outstanding positive lifestyle initiatives. I'd also like to congratulate the Laval Choir for their accomplishment at the Kiwanis. I think it was the Rose Bowl competition that they were in, and they ended up receiving $150 towards their program. I'd like to commend the Park Figure Skating Club and congratulate them on their year-end ice show, which happened a couple of weeks ago, showcasing the members of their park club. The Route 100 Committee is having a meeting, a public meeting on Wednesday, May 8th at 8 p.m. at Lawrence Pub in Dumbbell. So I just wanted to reiterate that. And the last item is that I'd like to remind residents that we have composting bins now available for purchase from the town for a cost of $28.99, if anyone's interested in that.
Thank you. Councillor Fitzpatrick. Deputy Mayor.
Just a couple of things. I guess one on the happened with the garbage pickup and picking up garbage anytime. I've seen a lot of posts on Twitter of kids picking up garbage actually on lunchtime and picking up garbage for the day and taking pictures and putting them out. I think that's a great idea. Maybe something the committee could look at, the communication, or something we could look at maybe. I was thinking every kid that picks up a bag of garbage, if you had a ticket or something, and have a nice prize in the end, whether it be an iPad, something like that to engage the public and give them and they need an incentive to do it. So something just to think about. You might get a lot of stuff like that.
Even we engage one of our business partners in the area to donate something.
Yeah, like there could be something like that to engage. So just
That's good.
It's a
So I
thought.
think the committee should certainly look at that there. Obviously, again, last year we had the unions out of our attention that they actually, got together and came out to workers on a park. That was great. So anything that we can get or any support from, people or volunteers to grow or help us clean up the town, it's not all going to be easy to be done by us with some workers. Everybody has a responsibility.
And I guess the last thing I got is the tender for the next part of the Dunville Water Project has been awarded. And I expect over the next number of weeks that will be started. So,
It has not been awarded
it
yet.
has been awarded?
It's closed. It has not
It's
been.
closed.
Yes, right.
So I guess will we see something pending?
Yes, we have, there was some information come from municipal affairs and they're looking for clarification.
Oh, really?
Yes, right.
Okay.
The tender did close.
The tender is closed, so hopefully we'll see something on that short.
Yes.
That's it for me.
The only thing I have is people are asking about the wellness center, the swimming pool. And the swimming pool obviously has been awarded as the owner advisor was A49 Architecture. A49 Architecture is planning to be in Placentia the first week of May to do a kickoff. To actually start the kickoff, and actually then there's public consultations and the whole format of stuff that's going to be happening there in the process to move forward. So, yes, it's happening, and yes, it's going to be built. This is the start. Obviously, some things had to be done to get all the signage and everything put in place, the agreements in place. It's now being signed, and the kickoff meeting is scheduled for, I think it's for next week, sometime next week to kick off. So as that's there, we'll let you know for sure. I have a
That's not a public
teleconference.
meeting here, is it?
Pardon?
That's not a public meeting.
No, the kickoff, but I have a teleconference tomorrow with the A49 to see what they're gonna do, they set direction and, obviously in their format, there's a whole process that to go for site selection, so on and so forth, a lot of questions, a lot of things that they have to do. Next week, it's gonna be hopefully the kickoff that they're gonna be moving forward with their plans as outlined. Okay, the other one is the Laval Prom this Friday, and congratulations to all of the Laval students that will be graduating this year. Thank you very much. Anything else? Councillor Smith.
Just to say, I represented the town at volunteer night at the Lions Manor, had a very enjoyable evening. And talking about all the garbage, I mean, our attention is disgraceful. I mean, are the businesses responsible for their own garbage? It just flows all over the place. And now the ATVs are down there and they're beating up trails everywhere. There's over grass lawns, now there's big tracks coming. And I talked to somebody down there today who's complaining because we're down there putting a big area on and they said they're starting to forget about now with the ATVs. Is that true?
That's not good,
No, awful. How do you control it?
Again, it's unfortunate there that, you have your green spaces and, even the base, Americans did have great pride in the sides of the road and dressing up. And maybe we can, just send the AMA a letter or something out there asking them to, try to clean up as well.
It's terrible down there.
There was a three-wheeler, along the garbage, the ATVs, there was a three-wheeler, two young fellas on it, doing a papa wheelie going right across the bridge the other evening.
I don't pass by our house yet.
Yeah. Anything else, Councillor Smith?
No.
Councillor Collins Power.
And most of my items I think were discussed, but we didn't do the action sheet.
The action sheet? I couldn't see. Is there anything on the action sheet you'd like to discuss?
And it was just a couple, I just wondered if the documents came in from the tax companies. I think we're waiting for something.
Okay, I think the Public Works Superintendent is reviewing all that they're going to enforce the municipal regulations and our acts and bylaws to enforce that, compliance. And if they are not registered business here, they'll be notified that they're not permitted to do business in the town section.
One of those things. And just for, I know I'm going to add that to our agenda about the some incentives for cleanup.
Yes.
But we'll also add maybe, like we discussed earlier with the permits, that if you have a business in town, you need to have a permit if you're operating a business, so remind our residents so that we're getting our fair, our tax base, and that we don't have to, the residents don't have to incur that cost because there's businesses operating and
Yes.
we have revenue, I guess.
When we identify things there, it's lost revenue from the town, so we can't afford to be losing lost revenue. Yeah. Councillor Fitzpatrick.
I just had a question. At the last council meeting, there was discussion and approval to do a newsletter. I know that items were provided. And there was a specific date for that, and we are reviewing the status of the newsletter going out.
One of the councillors spoke with earlier that it's being completed, that it's almost ready to be put up. Okay?
Okay.
It is, okay.
So in the coming days or weeks.
I'd say weeks, yes, for sure. Okay? That's it. Move to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Fitzpatrick, second by Councillor Smith. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.